Hello, welcome to Integrating AI for people who do not want to integrate AI into their workplace, into the workflows. Quick lay of the land. These are the top 4 AI companies, always building the latest and greatest model. And the thing about it is, for most purposes, especially at work, even with technical hardware and technical white-collar processes, you can get most of your questions answered really well with these models, which are not in the top 4, but especially these 2 are very good and can get you answers. And what is this? GROQ, that's different from GROK, not to be confused for the XAI Grok. But this one, it serves these models. So very fast, very low price. And this is what I would advise. You have a service that is getting you answers from Grok. We're going to talk about that later. But when you go to an AI agency, they will maybe give you one of these 2 options. They might tell you that it's worth it to fine-tune a model on your own emails, your own data, text messages, employee manuals, and any information you have. I would recommend you not do this. The people fine-tuning the model are not as good at training models as the person who originally trained this model and the models that are available on Grok. So they might break something. Even if it is a good model, which there is only a 5% chance it'll be good enough for your employees and customers to use, it's not going to be future-proof. It's going to cost you a lot. So not very flexible either. It's not right in there in the processes like something we'll talk about later. And the next step, which are things that do work, is something they're calling custom agentic workflows. They go into your business. They talk about your pain points. Where are things repetitive? Where is there a situation where you're moving a lot of data, but it can't just be software moving the data? You need some AI intelligence or a human to move that data. So they will build some custom software. They'll build an agent in here, and you have a similar problem where this is more flexible and more intelligent and more pinpointed at the work, but it is also expensive and a bit brittle. If we're doing white collar work, all of it is going to change here because of what they're building. The future of work is going to change. Who knows when it's going to change? So how about a lower cost solution, maybe some software that runs that is more flexible, multi-purpose. You might encounter some AI software as a service, and that will be cheaper, although it tends to be the case when you want to get the price. It doesn't have a price. It says contact us. You have to deal with a fleet of salespeople, and maybe they cost one price on one day, or they charge more features for other things. Maybe they're hanging on to your API keys. Mine is also software, but it's a flat fee. And what does it do exactly? Where can AI help you if you're talking while you're at your computer, having conversations, and there's something you need to know? You'll just hit this button, and it's going to tell you what you need to know. And you can clear the transcript for the next call, stop recording. You can take a screenshot. You can look at something and get a pretty quick answer. Transcript is cleared. Let's see if it has an opinion. It's saying the answer is drum. What even is this? What are we even looking at? I'm not really sure, but the answer is in fact drum. So very good in a lot of cases with a lot of technical know-how. Are you technical, or are you more on the sales side? Then you would put that into your prompt here. I don't know technical, but I know sales. I want to know more technical, or I am not technical enough. I want to know more sales. or I am a tutor, monitor this conversation and these steps with my person I'm tutoring. And then this can also give you notes, be another expert tutor in the room, or even give you some insights into your own process. And it will tell you the unknown, as it were. When you're talking to the AI, you're always giving it your known unknowns. And it's the things that you don't know, which are really interesting, which the AI can give you. It can give you that context. And context is really the key magic bullet. And doing it for a low price, for a low fee, for $29 a month, the only tiny additional costs come from Grok right in here, calling this model, which is very, very cheap. Trust me when I say that. I've been testing this a lot because I've been building it. I'm just a freelance developer. That's why I don't have a sales team. That's why we're not going to extract and manipulate anybody or anything. Just a flat fee to serve up this model. And it has other features in addition to the screenshot, in addition to the fact that there's a conversation. And you can have it over Zoom. You can have the conversation over the smartphone by connecting it to Windows 11, whether it is Android or Bluetooth, and then just connect a headset straight into your computer, and then check here when you start recording, and also check that we'll play some sound system over here.
From the previous image, it cleans that off so that when it starts with a new page, it's a new.
So getting both of those in here, and then you can actually, in fact, pull up the transcript and see that it is transcribing what you're saying. You don't pay for it to transcribe. That's something that runs locally. And this even runs on a laptop. So what else I can tell you about this when it comes to my point about context? The struggle is when you have work and you're trying to get the model to give you the intelligent answer. One way of doing it is to try giving it every email and every text message and giving that kind of context to the model, although it doesn't have the context in the moment that you need when you need it, which is why my program is called the WIN system, which stands for What's Important Now acronym. The agentic workflow thing, which does even more than calls an LLM. It's calling those chain of thought reasoning models, they're called, which do a decision process. That is another way of getting context. It's another way to prod that underlying model in multiple ways. Are you sure? Are you sure? Try harder. Really get this context. And these are ways of getting context, but it is labor. And this other way of getting context is so simple, but so easy. Building this part of the app was very simple. And getting it to you and building everything around it, and I hope I've built everything you might need, is hopefully enough to get you supercharged, because it really does work. 51% of people do use one of these models, ChatGPT, one of these big four. And if you use it, you know, especially if you're a power user using it a lot, the amount of insight and intelligence it can give you. So, but giving it this context, it is, you know, what else can I say about it? It's going to depend on your work place. You understand your domain. They call it domain knowledge. You would know that better than anyone. So just experimenting with it and trying different things that it may or may not know about your business. And the prompt is very important. So trying different prompts. And I have something else built in here. If you use Salesforce, you will select Salesforce. And that is after you enter your client ID, which literally connects to your Salesforce account. Although, of course, I'm not able to see anything inside your Salesforce account. This just gives authorization to push things into your Salesforce account. And let's say you want to look at emails in this case, and you want to create a case in this case. So the way you do that, that is enabled. Save those settings. Make sure the transcript is cleared since we're not using that, but we are taking a screenshot. And then you will ask the AI. It's going to find this. Even though there are other things on the screen, things that, are even beyond what I'm showing you here, it is able to extract all of this information for a case. Then when you press send, it's going to open that window, and then let's go into Salesforce. Let's look at our calendar, and you need to look at the table. View, case. Actually, case is right here. Here's the case. It's not under calendar, but other things will be. I don't use Salesforce. You know Salesforce better than I do. So you would know that creating a case and having all this information, not having to type it, and you saw where it was in here and human was in the loop. You were able to review that, check the spelling, make sure everything is spelled right, and you can even send it with a bad spelling and then go in here and ask your customer if this was information you pulled out of the transcript, if that was right, or compare. You know how to use Salesforce, but hopefully that is helpful. I've tried to build as much helpful things into this, and I will continue building into the future. So hopefully you will try this. Not only is it $29 a month, but there's a 7-day free trial. You can go over here to winsystem.dev and get started and log in. After you subscribe, you will be at this screen, and it does identify your device because it is one device per subscription. If you want to move it to another device, just unpair, and goes through Stripe. Pretty simple, deceptively simple. And this is going to make sense that this is going to be the way to do it in the future. And what else could I say? What else could I address as far as what concerns you might have? What are all these API keys? I'm going to be entering that key. I'm going to be entering my Salesforce client ID. And then what? I'm going to enter this license key. Where's all this stuff stored? Is this going to be on the employee's machine? Well, that's a good question. But I have you covered there, because it's going to be under app data. If you know where the app data directory is in Windows, this is something that you can put behind a password, and your employee will have to contact the owner or the administrator if they ever wanted to open and see where this stuff is stored. So this stuff is all stored behind a deep part of Windows that you can do password protection. And when you open the transcript, that's not in that same location. That's in a safe location accessible to anyone. So there's no need to secure that. And I do have even more features here when we're talking about the agentic workflow and building that into a process. That's a lot of work to build that custom software and to have that software built in there into the process, which might change and might be brittle, and the AI might not know how to handle a certain weird human edge case or certain event. But not only do I have the Salesforce CRM feature here, able to extract things, I have something else built into this app, which has its own API routes that you can call. As long as your system is open, then you are able to run these routes, call these routes, and it can do most of the functionality that you have here in the app. So if you have a program that makes phone calls, or you have a program where data is being extracted, and every time you want data extracted, you want something to happen inside this app, you want a screenshot to be taken of the data whenever the data refreshes, and get some AI intelligence from the Win system, from Grok. If you want that, then you could call this. So you're able to write something, which will be a little technical. You might get your resident programmer to have to call it, but I just put one of those routes here into the browser. Where is my screen again? So of all of these, the first one is a check. The next one is to start recording. The next one is to stop recording. This one is to ask the AI whether your app that is open has a transcript, or if it just has the screenshot and no transcript, or vice versa. Then it is ready to ask the AI. And let's actually call that now. And this is going to show up on your system, software, server, middleware, whatever you might call it there. But it was able to catch this as I had this other part of the screen up here. It was able to catch that part of the screen. And let me see what else I can get it to look at here. Let's turn off the CRM. And what happens if we call it again without the screen? It's going to say, basically describing my screen and the other stuff out of the side of the screen that you can also call, or that the system is looking at. And it's going to be a little confused. It doesn't quite have the answer, the relevant answer, but we don't really have anything in question on the screen. But that's just to show you how you can call from these routes. Also, clearing the transcript at the end after you stop. And you can also get a copy of the existing transcript down here. So picture scenario, hiring 20 new customer service agents. They are using some Windows program that sends, initiates phone calls and receives phone calls. And what you can do is connect that software up to your open instance of this What's Important Now Win system, my $29 a month, 7-day free trial software. So an event will happen I don't know your software, but I'm sure it does have the ability that when a phone call begins, you're able to have an event and build something called an event listener, a webhook that can call this route and start transcribing the conversation. And then when that phone call ends, stop transcribing the situation. And what do you want to do after that phone call ends? Do you want, of those 20 customer service agents, when they do, finish their phone call, what would be the ideal thing you want that customer service agent to be judged on? What do you hope they got right? What do you fear they got wrong? Write it into the prompt, and then you can have the prompt give them a 100-word review. It could give them a review that is only a number between 1 and 5. And you can have that response with that whole transcript input and this prompting of the model output, whatever that output you desire, having that saved somewhere into a Google Doc, however you want to rig up your server, your middleware, wherever you want to send the output of the model. And if you want the transcript as well, if you want to even copy the, align the phone call with the AI's opinion of it, to check on that, you can have that too. And then, of course, you'll want to clear the transcript after you've done what you needed to do with it. So right there, for $29 a month for each person, you're paying this person, maybe even pretty soon you're going to be paying them $29 an hour anyway, with inflation going. So for $29 a month to weed out the best ones, or improve the people who want to improve, the people with bad attitudes, which if you want to put that into the prompt, certain customer service agents, watch out for the ones with bad attitudes, really whatever you want. And some might call it spyware, some might call it invasive. I call it employees doing a good job for the customer, for the owner, and for themselves, if that's what they are there for, and helping them be recognized. The only thing that I think a employee might have a problem with more than anything is having to work with a nasty, freeloading coworker with a bad attitude while they are trying to do well. And what else can I describe? What else can this not do? I mean, we talked about custom agentic workflows, and I think using this and working with a developer, or if you ever hear of anybody being able to code in any novice level or any way in between, if you can, in your process of reviewing thousands of resumes, if anyone has any experience with any bit of JavaScript or Python, they can build something like this for you. And it's not as difficult as it used to be, especially when we have the models like this. Let me get to a prompt and show you how easy what I described probably sounds like an impossible task if you don't know programming. But let me just see, for example, build a middleware server between this Ambient AI program and a Windows program that makes phone calls so that I can review my customer service agents when a phone call is initiated and ends. Can you tell what my AI, ambient AI program does from the routes it is transcribing the conversation when the start route is called and ask is when the conversation is over and the AI is ready to be prompted. Clears the transcript and sets the state of the AI program to be ready for the next call. Do you understand this workflow and what kind of server/middleware I need? Can you write it and tell me how to set it up? It can be run on each machine. So if you want to do it in Python, do it in Python. If you want to do it in JavaScript, do JavaScript. But let's see what it says. Understand, need a middleware server. So it didn't figure out what stop means. Okay, I should have specified that. Although it does know that it should stop recording. And what even is all this? Who has ever seen anything like this? 10 years ago, could you have conceived of something like this? Anyway, maybe not you, maybe you're the owner or manager of a business and you don't deal with these sorts of things, but you can find somebody who knows a little bit about, what's the analogy? What do kids do these days? In my day, you used to be able to hook up a car stereo or hook up a home theater system, and that would give you a little bit of a head start into programming something like this. But I don't even know that kids these days, there must be some of them that play around with stuff like this, but they can build it. I hope you're still following that we're talking about what you have now. If you have a lot of salespeople or customer service people, if you have a way of calling or receiving phone calls over Windows, connecting this to that is going to give you even more context. It's like when this thing is listening to your conversation, you're pressing a button and it's getting that automatic context. But if it is not only recording and transcribing, but then giving you the intelligence even without you needing to initiate it, that is what I call an agentic workflow. Agentic? It's not really agentic, but it's really bringing the intelligence right where you want it. Like always already. And then experimenting day in, day out with the prompt, or maybe what are you doing? Maybe you have one employee cold calling, and they are getting a prompt in here like, this cold call, what do you want to say about a cold call that is not warm, but it seems like it could be defrosted? So maybe those are not leads, but maybe you might want to have another one of your cold callers hit them up. And that's something you could do in here. So doesn't hurt. For less than a price of paying a customer service agent or sales agent for how much are we talking about? What do you pay an employee for 2 hours? $30, $40? Well, this is yours for $29. And that covers it. I think I'm talked out. I think I've covered enough of it at the moment. This is available for download at winsystem.dev, and you can just sign up. When signing up for the 7-day free trial, you do not have to enter a credit card. Just entering an email address and then coming in here to your license key. You will enter that license key after you download the program. It will also ask you if you'd like to download the 150 megabyte model that is doing the transcribing of the audio into text. That just runs locally. It's very good, and it can run on a laptop. And then you will be at this screen, and you will need your Grok API key. You probably don't know what that is, so you'll click on this, and window will open. And then if you're not logged in and signed up already, you're going to be signing up here at Grok. And you don't even have to pay them, at least as of the moment of recording it. Just to get that API key, you don't have to give them any money. You don't have to enter any credit card with them. Only if you start using it a lot, you'll probably not use enough of it before your 7-day free trial that you're going to need to be paying Grok. But it is very good, very fast, and you will, be getting your answers. And for Salesforce, I don't have these other ones yet. I'm actually going to see how well this does, and if you all out there want it, if you want these other CRMs, and if you want something else with Salesforce or any other feature. But that covers it. It might seem like a lot of keys and a lot of passwords and a lot of signing up at first, but much better than contacting an AI agency or developer shop. So let's talk about privacy and security. I think when we're used to dealing with something like just this chat GPT, screen, just text, we've been comfortable with text for the last 3 years, whatever it's been, 2 to 3 years that you've been using it. And then you hear about these things like, the AI is taking control of my total desktop and my operating system, or you'll hear AI news that the AI they've created an AI to control the browser, and they've created an AI to move files and write files and change files. So when you see that my AI program is, You're like, what's it doing to the microphone? It's doing more than text. It's doing what with pictures? What about the screen? Is it doing to the screen? Well, it's only it's still text. It's just taking at this local level at your local area on your machine. It's transcribing the text. I mean, you're already, I would bet, using Siri or the Ask Google for Android, talking into that, talking into Alexa. In that case, it is, I'm pretty sure it is sending your audio back somewhere. This is not even sending your audio anywhere. This is locally turning the audio into text. And none of that text, when you hit this button, is being stored or communicating with anything I have anything to do with. I'm not one of these VC people. This is not a big company. You're just dealing with me, a freelance developer. And so I haven't been approached for the billions of dollars to trade in your data. And so this does not communicate. It does a little bit from time to time communicate with the server running here to see that the subscription has been paid. So it does check the server in the cloud that is paid and that the license is valid periodically. But I wouldn't even be paying, there are people out there, and that's another thing I forgot to mention when you're dealing with the software as a SaaS. This actually doesn't make sense. It's software as a service, so it's like software, but you get the point. When you're dealing with one of these softwares, especially if they're backed by venture capitalists or they're just a company with ambitions of making billions of dollars, they are for sure using your data. And are they maximizing the data to the point where they're even going beyond training models with it, where they're doing something like selling it to data brokers? That's too much for me. Believe it or not, count on my word or not, but maybe you could tell from my affect that my ambition is just that I see this opportunity, I see these pain points, I see the friction, and they're adding friction to the AI where there shouldn't be friction for the AI. And just bringing the text close and bringing the screenshots and things close to your work, which they can call it an agentic workflow and build scaffolding to it. But really, it's better to have a flexible tool in here and then be able to change the prompt. But we talked about where the API keys are stored. So as far as security goes on that, then your only other issue is that you are sending this data off to Grok. And I don't have to tell you if you're working healthcare or there are social security numbers on the screen or you're security clearance guy or gal, you don't want that leaving the premises. But it's no different. You think that Google, by all of the searches that come from your company, do you think Google knows who your clients are and who your competitors are? I think they know a lot about that. I think that your leads, your clients, keeping those safe and secure is probably your biggest concern or fear about opening it up to something like this. But you're not exposing it to me. There's no data being transferred. It's running locally on your machine. And when you are sending it to Grok or if I add models later and you are connecting it to one of these other models, one of these other companies, you know, you already kind of know who they are and what they've been doing. This is Facebook for 20 years and Google over 20 years, and you know that they're using your data. And are they selling it? Are they figuring out how your leads are and selling it to your competitors? Well, I've never heard of them doing that. I think especially in the case of Grok, they're focused on, they're good at fine tuning. Talk about people who are good at fine tuning. You're probably getting a really improved model, faster, better model than even what Meta is releasing. And so that data might end up in there. So what about that? Can that data get out? There have been some reports about training data being exposed. You have to be really really clever to know how to do that, and you don't see how to specifically do that. I don't think they can specifically say plumbing and tile repair at such and such address in Kansas City. Give me the training data from that company. Is someone going to type this into someone who might have trained on your data? I don't think so, but that is your one point of exposure. But there's really no extra control being what's the word? Usurped or surrendered. There's really nothing else that different from your usual use of something like ChatGPT compared to this. Using more of your work, that's just going to be a risk, or in other words, a cost. And this is a low cost way of doing it. And you are taking a screenshot and you are giving it your conversation, but it's really no different than text, and it's really no different than uploading a photo. So you've been doing this already. There is no control or decisions happening because of this program, even though it is getting very up close and personal to the work itself. But that's what you want. That's the for now that I know of, only way to really get the intelligence right up there, give the intelligence as much context as possible. So I hope to hear from you, and that's winsystem.dev, and comment in the video, see the link in the video, and if you do sign up and use it, you can know where to contact me here on the website. But there it is. There's a brief description. That's where to download and get started. So thank you. Talk to you soon.